Hi students, I am Chakraborty, you know me very well, and today we are going to give you an important suggestions regarding forthcoming exam of commercial studies of ICSE board. All you know that your commercial studies exam will be held on 27th March. So regarding that, today, through this video, I want to give some suggestions from different chapters. First chapter, you know, it is stakeholders. So regarding that, only two questions you have to read from this first chapter. Who are the stakeholders? You know, stakeholder also you know that stakeholders are two types, internal and external. Regarding that, the most important question from this chapter is what are the expectations of different stakeholders from the company. Here you have to write, suppose it is asked you in questions, what are the expectations of government? So you know government is an external stakeholder, and what government needs from the business. First of all, government wants that all businessmen should obey the government rules and regulations. At the end of the year, government wants that each and every company will give the government the tax. So tax revenue is the second expectation of the government from the business. Then proper utilization of resources. You know that resources are unlimited. Since resources are limited, so government wants that all the private and public companies, they will use the resources very cautiously, judiciously, tactically. Okay. Employment opportunities is also an important expectation of the government from the business. Next, here you have to read the difference between internal and external stakeholders. Now we are coming to the chapter number 2, market and sales. Here only one question you have to read from this chapter, marketing, objectives of marketing. Objectives of marketing is, you know, 2-3 important points are there. Market share, price stability, then profit maximization. Okay. So today what the suggestions I am giving you, you just complete that within today. The next day again you will get the suggestions for the rest of the chapters. Today I am giving suggestions for 5 to 6 chapters. Try to complete all these questions within today. Tomorrow again you will get suggestions from next 6 chapters. Okay. So this way you can complete all the book within 3-4 days. So now we are coming to the next chapter. The chapter is advertising and sales promotion. Regarding advertising, here the important question is the merits and demerits of advertising. So merits means, you know, advantage. So here you have to memorize at least 5 points from what the advertisement. If you are maintaining a company, you are the owner of the company. So why you will give the advertisement? So to make your product or service popular. So regarding that issue, what are the merits you will get through advertisement? 3-4 points I am reading from the book. Meeting competitions, steady demand, introduction of new product, economies of scale. Okay. Employee morale also. Now next question, demerits. What are the disadvantages you can get from the advertisement? Very important question. High price, wasteful consumption, misleads the consumer, creating monopoly. So these are the important points regarding the disadvantage of advertisement. Okay. Now we are coming to the third topic in this chapter, function of advertising agency. Function, planning, then creation or innovation, coordination, accounting, media planning. These are the 5 points you can write. Keep in mind that you must write the points, then you at least 1 or 2 lines you have to write regarding each and every point. Okay, not only write the points, you write the point, then write against of that point you write at least 1 or 2 sentences. Now the important thing is that the difference between advertising publicity, you have to read that, sales promotion technique, then you have to read the pricing. One question from pricing chapter is objective of pricing. So these are the important questions from these chapters 1 to 5. Now we are coming to the next chapter, that is consumer protection. Very important chapter, consumer protection. You know, 2 acts are there regarding this chapter. Consumer protection 1886, 1986, and then 2019. Now question is that why? Why is the justification of enacting a new act regarding consumer protection? Already we have consumer protection at 1986, still again we make a new act. Why? Just because of at that time no online transactions were there, no virtual marketing was there, but now online transaction is rapidly increasing. Regarding that issue, we are going to revise our old Consumer Protection Act, and now we have Consumer Protection Act 2019. And in this act, the main important questions, the consumer exploitations, then rights of the consumer, 5 rights are there, you have to write, okay, you have to read one by one. Then right to safety, you can be asked, write a short note on right to safety, right to be heard. So these are right to choose. So these are the important consumers' right you have to read. Then we are coming to the next part of this act, that is importance of consumer awareness. Okay, importance of consumer awareness. That means consumer awareness is an important thing, because government want to make the consumer aware, alert, so that any seller cannot cheat or exploit any consumer. Okay, so being a consumer, you must be alert against the exploitations of the seller. So this is the important questions, you can read it. Next part, e-commerce. Regarding advertising, already told, again I am telling that sales technique, that means if you want to promote your product, what are the steps, what are the techniques you can take. Now we are coming e-commerce. Here you have to write you have to read 3-4 important ACQ question, 2 marks question, and that is regarding e-tailing, e-advertising, e-marketing, like that. Okay, next question is that finance and accounting. Under finance and accounting, first chapter is capital and revenue. Here important difference is there. What is the capital expenditure, What is revenue expenditure? A difference between these two. A very simple sense, capital expenditure in rough sense you can write that capital expenditure means when you are purchasing fixed asset, it's an example of capital expenditure. For suppose you are purchasing a land, plant, building like that, it's a capital expenditure. Revenue expenditure means expenditure which is needed to run the business day by day basis. When you are paying employee wages, when you are paying rent of the room, when you are paying the electricity, then it is a revenue expenditure. Okay, so revenue expenditure for short term 1 year basis, and capital expenditure is the long term basis. Okay, revenue expenditure is recurring, month after month you have to pay the wages, but regarding capital expenditure you have to pay one time. So these are the important differences between the two expenditure. Now we are coming to the next part. A short note can be asked, what is deferred revenue expenditure? Regarding that, deferred revenue expenditure means revenue expenditure, but when a revenue expenditure covers more than one period, 1 year period. Suppose advertisement. When you are giving advertisement of your product, suppose you are spending 2 lakh rupees and you have decided within 2 years you will not go for the advertisement. That means you spend 2 lakhs for 2 years. It is revenue expenditure, but it covers 2 years, more than 1 year. So this is an example of deferred revenue expenditure. Okay. Now final account is there. All you know your last question 10, question number 10. Last question means question number 10 is always for final account. A sum will be there. So many important sums already we have discussed in the class, and you know a format is there regarding trading account, PL account and balance sheet. So it's my request to go to the sum. Already 2 to 3-4 days till you have. So if you practice 3-4 sums, it will be very easy to get 10 out of 10. Okay. Next chapter is cost. Cost means different types of cost is there. Fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost. You have to read it, definition and example. Fixed means when you are paying rent, room rent, it is a fixed because each and every month you have to pay the same amount. When you are paying salary, it is a fixed cost because you have to pay salary to a particular person, same amount month after month. But raw materials, wages, these are the example of variable. So variable cost means it varies with the production. If you have less amount of productions, you need less amount of raw materials. If you have more production, then your raw materials will be increased. So when a cost varies with the level of production, it is example of variable cost. And when a cost is partly variable and partly fixed, that is called semi-variable expenditure. I told you that if it is asked, write the example of semi-variable expenditure, you have to write electricity bill, telephone bill. These are the common example of semi-variable expenditure. Again, cost can be classified by direct cost and indirect cost. So here direct cost means, direct or direct cost means the cost which is directly related with the production. Material, wages, these are the example of direct cost. Indirect cost means when the cost is needed but not directly related with the production. for electricity. Electricity is needed because without electricity you cannot move machines, fans. So these are important components of the production, but not directly. Okay. So when you are paying electricity bill, it is not directly related with the production. Wages and salary, two things are different. When you are paying remuneration to a worker who are directly related with the production, it is called wages. So wages is example of direct cost. But when you are paying salary, salary means you are paying remuneration to a office staff. It is fixed in nature and it is indirect cost because the office staff is not directly related with the production. Next, budget. Regarding budget, you have to read different types of budget: sales budget, production budget, cash budget. Okay, it can be asked in 5 marks question. What are different types of budgets you have? Then just by giving the name, you have to write 1 or 2 sentences in against of each and every point. Then today's last chapter, that is capital market. Capital market, one question you know is function of capital market. And next chapter, sources of raising capital. You know, if you form a company and company needs money to run, the question is that huge amount which you require to form a company, what are the sources are there from which you can collect that amount? Those sources may be long term or short term. Long term, equity share, preference share and debentures. 3 things you have to keep in mind, that if you want to raise your capital, so being a company, you can get that amount from by issuing equity shares, preference shares or debentures. These are the 3 sources from where a company can get the money. But these sources are long term. Long term source means when you are taking money from someone and you have to pay back that money after long years, 10 years, after 10 years, after 15 years you can pay. That is called long term. Okay. And short term means when you are getting loan from bank, when you are getting loan by discounting bill, then at that time you have to return the money within a year. So when you are taking money from someone and you have to pay back that amount within a year, it is called short term. And regarding short term, loan from bank, different types of bank loan is there: cash credit, bank overdraft are there, bill of exchange. That means by discounting your bill you can get the money. These are the short term sources. And regarding long term sources, 3 you have: equity share, preference share, debentures. The important question is that you can be asked the difference between equity share and preference shares. And regarding that, I can say equity share means when you purchase a share of a company and you have the ownership, you have the right to attend the meeting, you have the right to give votes in meeting. That means you are the equity shareholder. The shares which represent ownership and different rights you have, then it is a equity share. Regarding preference shares, you don't have the ownership, you don't have the right to attend the meeting and giving the vote. Only you have the right to get dividend before the equity shares. Okay. So preference means what the preference are getting. A preference is that if you purchase preference share from the company, you will get dividend. What is dividend? Dividend means part of the profit. Company will earn profit and company will distribute that profit to those persons who have purchased equity shares and preference shares. But before equity shares, preference shareholders will get that profit. It is called preference dividend. Okay. So up to this today, through this video, I have to say you that Already we have completed 1, 2, 3 chapters. First chapter was regarding the stakeholders. Heading was stakeholders, marketing and sales. Then finance and accounting. So up to this we have completed 1, 2, 3, 3 chapters. Okay. And what the suggestions, discussions we have made, it's my request to complete this within today or within tomorrow morning. So again tomorrow I'll give the next video for rest of the chapters, and then you can complete that part of the book tomorrow. Thank you everyone, and I hope you will study and complete the suggestion within today and tomorrow morning. And then again I will come to give you the suggestion for the next part.